mic's on. I'm getting some weird. Man, I get. It's okay. Happy Friday. Well, I bet you were thinking you were good to see me. You're like, wait, that's not James. Wait, is that James? This doesn't look like James. What's going on? Where's James? James, where'd you go? Where'd you go, James? I don't even know if you can hear me. Let me see. We got that thing started, and then we got this thing over here, but I do not see the yeah, mic check. Do you guys actually hear me? Because I don't actually see the levels. The levels are not what I was expecting them to be. And I'm a little bit nervous about that. Welcome to the show. Happy Friday. Good to see everyone. Hope everyone's having a good. You can hear me good. Thank you, Mel. All right, great. Sounds clear. Hey, why do I need to hear myself? Jeez, it's bad enough you guys have to, right? No reason to spread that around. Wait a minute, I can hear myself better. Well, looky there. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to James True Live. I am your not-so-dusted host. One of these days, I'm going to unpack from 5'5" and wear a different shirt, and you're going to get it. Although some of you saw a new shirt on Wednesday. That's right. But I couldn't wear it twice because... Wouldn't that be weird if I was doing a live stream and I was wearing the same shirt more than once? I mean, come on. That would be weird. That would be really, really weird. I got a show for you today. Look out, I got a show for you. Who's in the house? Grand Rising to you too, David Smouse. I bet I pronounced that right. That's right. Hello, Jen. Good morning, Gracie. Je gracie. C'est un tout bien cochon. C'est un poisson de fromage. Le poisson de fromage. We are going places in today's show, and these places are psychic destinations, and that's what's happening. Hey, good to see you, Full Metal Alchemist. Great to see you. So let's do it. Let's do it, as they say. Yeah, baby. All right. First of all, let's start off with a letter here. Dear Truthers, please stop saying contagion isn't real. Please. I know you do it. Some of you are typing, well, I don't say that. Yeah, you do. You do. It's okay. And you're going to figure out why. Toxic levels of human vibration have been killing people for years. And to say this isn't, well, I typed this wrong because I was correcting it. And saying this isn't really makes us realize, and saying this isn't real makes us realize why government doesn't have to try very hard anymore. I screwed up that line, sorry. Dear Truthers, please stop saying contagion isn't real. Toxic levels of human vibration have been killing people for years. And to say this isn't real makes me realize why government doesn't have to try very hard anymore. Contagion is a sympathetic vibration that occupies more than one host. The vibration is spread through two or more people oscillating or believing in the same frequency, something you and I call reality. This permeable psychic membrane is susceptible to everything either party believes because both placebos are pulling power from both hosts simultaneously. Not only is contagion real, it can be fully demonstrated in a functional MRI. So why do we not cure the problems with contagion? The answer is because contagion is necessary for you to learn to walk, dance, paint, and make love. Contagion is not something that is broken, my dear friends. Not at all. Contagion is how you got here. And is how you were able to be the person that you've become to be. Truthers will always be on the side of comfort medicine because denialism is a vital part of the immune system. Do you understand? And you probably thought that I was making fun of truthers, but no, I'm actually telling you, truthers, I understand. I understand your comfort movement. I get it. I understand. I understand it so well that I believe it's built into the mechanics of your immune system. that your entire immune system requires denialism. Not only does it require it, I say hats off. I think you're doing well. I think you're doing well. Think about it. The con of spiracy is the doubting of a public dogma. The public has conspired against you, the theorist, who dares to hold a different vibration. This whole time you thought the word conspiracy theorist was talking about you, and that you were the one holding the conspiracy. But you're not. You have a theory that the conspiratists believe something that is not correct. You are a conspiracy theorist. You are the first person that has decided to theorize about the greater conspiracy that is congealed around you. It is congealed into something that you and I know as the word knowledge. We call it knowledge. And that you, being the conspiracy theorist, have the nerve to theorize about knowledge. Do you understand? Understand who you are. Pop tall. Spine straight. You're in class right now, right? The vibration of a conspiracy theorist is contagious, which is why you are a targeted individual. You are targeted by a conspiracy of peers that have insisted on a reality that you do not maintain or carry. That when they ask you for your papers, please, you cannot comply. The vibration of you is proof that contagion is so desperately, desperately contagious. That you are a violent femme, a rogue pathogen, an agent of the proletariat, subversing yourself into the dominant paradigm and having the nerve to be toxic to the general public. Your vibe, right? Your vibe is contagious. Every alternative reality bubble begins with an outer coating of doubt. Think about it. Every alternative reality bubble begins with an outer coating of doubt. This psychic membrane protects your reality from the rest of the conspired world. You would not be able to hold a reality bubble were it not for your outer coating of doubt. Your very insistence that you doubt things is proof of an electrical psychic field that has developed an immunity from the very word contagion. It's a beautiful thing what you've done here. It's a beautiful thing, all of you. The outermost layer of every conspiracy theorist is an epidermis of doubt. That the first thing that everyone else's egregoric bubble does is sear and burn in the microwave radiation that you emit from your skin, from your own immunity system called doubt, and that doubt offers a tangible palisade, a literal electric fence that creates an electromagnetic field of protection, and it sinisters all theories with this. What do you call those people at the airport? They're called like TVA. See, I'm so far out of that reality, I can't even think of what they're called. But your doubt is an immigration border. Someone's gonna type it, but it's way too late. It's way too late. Contagion is a sympathetic vibration felt across the room. One of the oldest graphics you've seen from James True is this idea of fork A resonating fork B. And that the only reason why fork A and fork B resonate is because fork A and fork B are alike, which means if you were wanting to create a human orchestra of obedience, you would look for like forks, and you would bend, prod, cut, saw, sand, and shave any fork that was longer or shorter. Dancing and music are sympathetic vibrations felt across a room. Two forks made out of bone, listening to the same vibration, begin to dance. It's a real phenomenon. Do-do-do-do. Phenomenon. Do-do-do-do. Is this fake or is it pretend? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to be careful with my language and vocabulary here. That the gauntlet that we've just gone through, that I shall not name, I need you to ask yourself, is this fake or is it pretend? And the peanut gallery says, what's the difference between, there's no difference, fake, pretend. Those are the same things. And I, James True, here, before your very witness, here, I'll do this on camera. I have a confession to make. I've been obliterating the word pretend. I use it all the time. I use it to attack those around me who I think are embracing a comfort movement, and that is not serving me anymore. I required this word, to be used in the way pretend it used to be used because I needed to forge my reality bubble stronger, and I thought that if I could insist on the flaws of other reality bubbles, it would make mine stronger, and it did. But that no longer serves me now. And one of the deepest mistakes that I've noticed in my posture came about in my use of the word pretend, because I used to think that it meant what society thinks it means, and what society thinks it means, including the lovely human vibration, who, if you're listening to me, this is exactly what I was arguing with you about on Twitter. But your little ears didn't want to hear this because you wanted to hear something else, and that's fine. I think you got a good tune going, but you're missing something fundamental here, that there's a difference between fake and pretend. And I'm about to show you that right here on James True. Welcome to Friday, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you here, and have a seat and enjoy some of our lovely things on the table. We've got some fine cheese from the most exotic places around. Truly cheese that has never been fromaged before. This is a time and a place in Aquarius where we meet, dance and sing in our sympathetic vibrations. It's a beautiful day, is it not? Yes, and we sit and sway and wonder. Put your volume up, please, says B, and I wonder if she means my microphone, and she probably does, because, you know, I'm never at the right level. The difference between fake and pretend. Hope you can hear me now. I'm going to get these levels right. If anyone knows about audio interfaces, I don't understand why it's at 9.7 and you can't hear anything, and then it's at 9.70001, and then it's clipping. I find it extremely frustrating. Just wanted to say that. That's a total sidebar. Back to the difference between is this fake or is this pretend. Here, I need to set the mood and bring us back. Here we go. The difference between fake and pretend is catastrophically large. It's huge. And it only took us 500 years to completely kill it, the difference between these words. And I hope that today marks a new day where anyone will scourge me and inject, or actually not inject, it's actually more will secrete, thank you, will secrete cortisol from my own system simply by reminding me of the difference between fake and pretend, because it is huge. And as magicians, I have failed you in my lazy hyena way of using these two words interchangeably. Is this gauntlet photo fake or pretend? Were we seeing mass graves from space? And were those fake or were they pretend? Because I think they were pretend, and I think that the definition of fake would not fit. I don't think it would fit. And I'm hoping to educate or unlearn us all on what this means. The very first FDA that ever began was established by King James VI of Scotland in 1597, and he published his book, Demonology, and thereby declared all sympathetic magic unlawful. All spoken magic was forbidden. And that decree was laid out over the most grueling read you've ever done. If you've ever tried to read this book, it is awful. Oh my God, it is awful. And it's not because it's terrible, it's because it's just so poorly, pompously full of itself. It is completely torturous to get through this. And in fact, look at the seal itself says, "In my defense." Of course, King James. Of course you'd have to defend yourself for your literary abuse. Oh my God. This man declared sympathetic magic unlawful. He declared that the idea of speaking anything that causes a vibration that would cause a change in you would be blasphemy, work of the devil. The Orthodox that's alive today, the Orthodox that's like, everything's gay, or everything's trans, or the AI's coming to get us, all stem from this idea of the denial of sympathetic magic, of the denial of spoken word. And the very people that utilize spoken word to control you have put an embargo against that very magic. And it started in 1597 with King James VI. That this was his one swoop to be able to come in with the sharpest of swords and literally cut every single witch, every single herbalist, every single medicinal practitioner that could ever exist in the land down with one swoop. And he did not do it because he's the bad guy and you're the good guy. He did that because truthers in the forest were terrified of having the responsibility of being contagious. And they're still doing it now. They're still doing it today. And they've been insisting ever since that medicine has to come from outside, has to come from this, it has to come from this. And the fact that someone would use words and that those words would cure me would only prove that the medicine did not come from outside. That instead somehow it was transmitted and that I received it and then I somehow emerged and secreted some secret chemistry, some secret liquid that wasn't there before. And the same fear that we have about spirits coagulated into the belief of one singular spirit called the Holy Ghost, right? The entire fear of demons was coagulated into one central demon. And we called him the Holy Ghost, and we said he doesn't count. This one doesn't count. But if you blaspheme this demon, you're bad. But if you blaspheme any other demons, then you're suggesting they're real and you're even worse. And the exact same thing happened there that happened in the FDA, and the exact same thing's happening now. And I'm here to tell you that truthers are actually helping. They're helping by saying contagion doesn't exist. They're helping by saying, well, there's you can't explain how contagion can you? Therefore, Cox postulates proves it's not true, and you're fucking missing it. You should be leaning in harder on how contagion works. You should be leaning in harder, not stepping away, selling fucking Shugite on a site where you exchange sexual favors for medicine. Not that I'm speaking of anyone in particular here. The first FDA in 1597 did this, declaring the damnable life and death of Dr. Fian, a notable sorcerer who was burned at Edinburgh on January 1591. What did this doctor do? They discovered how he was pretending. that he pretended to bewitch and drown his majesty in the sea coming from Denmark, which such other for wonderful matters similarly have not been heard at any time. He was saying that you're guilty of trying to sink my new wife's boat as she sailed from Denmark. King James has murdered someone for using sympathetic vibration in a remote location to try and sink a ship. And even though he failed, still killed him. Still did it. And he was accused of pretending it. Does that mean he was accused of faking it? Was this a false flag? Are we trying to say that William Wright was writing about the life and death of Dr. Finian, who actually posed and created a false flag event in which a ship was said to sink that didn't actually sink, and that there was a Marilyn Monroe figure on board who was killed in the sinking of the ship, and that the entire thing was Epstein Island? James, are you saying that Epstein Island was in 1591? And I'm like, yes, of course. We're talking about sympathetic magic, ladies and gentlemen. It's literally the title of the show. I think it's Sympathetic Contagion. I almost changed it to magic, but then you have to change it in 4 places, and I'm just like, oh. Right? I already have this mic thing with 9.71. Pretended actually meant to do, to act, to pretend. In this century, according to this decree, it actually led to a capital punishment. To pretend actually meant to enact, to cast, to prepare, to do, to bring about, to call forth. That's what pretend meant. And that man's race to the bottom changed the very definition of the word pretend to mean fake. Why? Because it allows truthers to believe less about themselves. Let the victimhood wash over you. Good. You have no power. Everything is fake, brah. Everything is fake. Feel the power of the victimhood. Feel the lack of power of the dark side, right? 14th century. The etymology pretend meant to direct one's efforts. I just showed you that was the official decree. I'm not making this up. I'm not pretending. See, now you're supposed to castigate me. Cortisol, run through my head. I've just used the word wrong. Oh, I feel it. Oh, ow. Oh, pretend. 14th century, to direct one's efforts. To stretch in front, to spread before, to put forward. That's what it meant in Latin. Ancient Rome saw it as literally the thing that you would have to do before you do something, that you would need to pretend it. The French, those fine cheesemakers, said, make a suit of marriage for is to pretend, to prepare a marriage of something, to prepare a completion of something. It was an act of imagination. And we did the same thing to imagination. What does pretend mean now? Make it appear that something is the case when in fact it is not. Notice the word fact. Notice the word fact. Another definition today. Not the case to be so. That the definition of pretend means whatever it is that we're saying, it's actually not the case to be so. And this is how James Schurzman uses this word. Not how dare I? How dare I do that? It even goes so far as to call it deception, that to pretend is to deceive, which means that your children are devious fucks. Look at them there. Playing Stretch Man Armstrong. They're so full of shit. Do you understand how wrong that is? Do you see how our race to the bottom, how our insistence to rape every single inch of mystery around here, regardless of if she had it coming or not, regardless of if she knows or we know, or there's consent or no consent, or if it's true or if it's not true, that the point of this here has turned into we must remove all mystery, even if it's false. And the only way we can do that is we got to change the definition of the word pretend. We can't have this word pretend. We can't have the idea that you would bring about something by preparing for it before it happens, that through some sort of sympathetic ritual that you would somehow enact something and then have it happen. That's absurd. Who the heck would do that? Oh my goodness. What is this slide doing here? Coronavirus. Nurses step over dead bodies piled up on hospital floor. Printable version. Now, I wrote a video called 99 Cases. It's brilliant, by the way, but no one fucking watches it because all you guys want is live stream. Sorry for cussing. But in that video, I'm showing you that no matter what number you enter into new cases on Google, you will automatically see that there's a story. The first story says, yes, there are this many cases. Yes, there are 6 cases. Yes, there are 117 cases. Yes, there are 999 cases. I typed every number. It's on video. And I showed you the power of pretending. That it's not fake, it's pretending. And I get that the subtle mind, maybe without enough calories, would not be able to see the difference between those two words. It would be as if you were to hear me say entropy versus entropy. That the Mandela effect would cause you to mishear me. And that over the past, if you were to go back to videos, you would see Maslow and Laszlo interacting because there's some kind of schism in the world. And that schism is that your resolution has changed and you're able to discern more and you're able to see the space between the notes and you're able to understand, holy shit, James True just told me the difference between fake and pretending. Fuck. I did not know that was there. What is this guy doing to me? It's the lint roller. It's the lint roller doing it. That's what all of this. I wore a new shirt on Wednesday. It's pretty fly. Do you understand? This is pretending. What does this mean? It goes back to the oldest graphic. Fork A resonates. Fork B begins resonating with sympathetic vibration. This is fork A. This is fork A. Bob, did you get that backhoe? Yes, I did. I need you to build, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 28 times. Helicopter at this angle. Camera view from this perspective, taking the tangent root of said vector. Set it up there and put your perspective lines. Bob, we're going to need 68 holes dug like a graveyard before Wednesday. Okay. I'll do it. All right, good. Is that fake or is that pretending? Because I think it's pretending. And I think that you could implement a sympathetic vibration in 4K through the media. Media would be 4K. Media is 4K. 4K is the media. 4K is the media, right? And then they start to do it. They start to do it. It was a nice shirt. You're damn right it was. You're damn right it was. Oh. That's 4K. And you already know what fork B is. I don't need to tell you that slide. We don't need to watch that slide. You know, there's some of you that are like, hey, I would love to partake in this soiree of wisdom. Perhaps you could make some sort of introductory advertising video for me in order to entice me further. Right? We don't do that here. You're going to have to put together your little strings. You're going to have to connect your dots, right? The world is full of dots. Imagine if you looked up at the fucking sky and all of the stars were connected with a line. Do you know how boring that would be? Oh my God, that would be boring. It would be boring. Think about it. Witches were people who, thanks to their abilities, set themselves apart from the rest of the community. They differentiated themselves. In doing this, they lost an acceptable position in human society, but also gained other qualities and characteristics. Placed at the boundaries of life and death, directing evil spells against single individuals or whole villages in order to steal or destroy their physical and spiritual existence. Witches' work can be equated with the activities of supernatural beings, particularly those mysterious creatures identified as fairies since antiquity. The best and brightest in society were attacked by the FDA in 1597. The people that had the most thorough control over their reality bubble were attacked in 1597. And any single person found on the land practicing sympathetic vibration technology was burned at the stake. or given a COVID test. Yep. We're gonna go into witch pricking again. There's a lot there. There's a lot of sticks to poke at that. This Surgeon General witch fighting, Matthew Hopkins, right, was given his entire freelance living thanks to the FDA. That as soon as the FDA rolled out, the very first medical industry came into existence, and it looked like this. It looked just like this. And from then on, we've always insisted there's no such thing as sympathetic magic. We've literally hunted it down and killed it. We'll go into Bloodose later. Hey, catch me at Astronosis, too. Part 2. Catch me there. Don't miss it, seriously. It's going to be great. I got a new suit just for the occasion. Seriously. You got to catch me there. I'm trying to copy this, but let me see. Red. Copy link address. Come over here. Hello, Melissa Mind. Thank you for saying fascinating. Assuming you're talking about me and not, who knows, right? There are all kinds of things in this. Yeah, off topic. See, Teresa Berger's off topic. Wasn't there a story about a mass making of caskets prior to... It's not off topic at all, Teresa. That's right on line with what we're talking about. Yeah, catch me in Astronosis. Did I explain that right? I'm trying to tell you that you can sympathetically announce that there is a mass illness and that people will die. And it's not fake. Why are you calling it fake? Why are we calling it fake? It's not fake. Are you guys who are insisting that the pandemic is fake? Because I just think you just haven't understood your language is all. Are you seriously trying to claim that no one's died? Because when I listen to certain people, that is what they say. They say contagion isn't real, no one died. And I hear the same thing about 9/11. I hear the same thing about everything, from school shootings to everything else. And all of those are the bubble that I'm trying to talk about, this reality bubble that forms around the conspiracy theorist because they're being a targeted individual. This is why it's so beautiful. Nature is teaching you to become a conspiracy theorist. And the first thing it teaches you is how to form an outer bubble of doubt. It's the first thing. And so the low-level truther has a thick layer of doubt. They doubt everything. Someone should be typing right now, oh my God, this is brilliant. Because this is how it works. This is how it happens. You form this reality bubble, and you end up forging this new place. So the conspiracy theorist is on level 1. It's level 1. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a great level. They are so much higher on the hermetic ladder than people that are insisting there is no ladder. Right? It's the same thing. First thing they do is develop doubt. I have doubt. I have doubt. Right? I have doubt. What was her name? Chick on the Cosby Show. Lisa something. Bonet. I don't know. Bonnet. Blue Bonnet. The lady on the Cosby Show is on Donahue, and she's expressing her doubt about vaccines. She's showing you her reality bubble. And the reality bubble is permeable. It attacks every conspiracy around her. She is not the conspiracy theorist. The conspiracy is around her, and she is the theorist. She's inside. The theory is inside the conspiracy that wraps around her. This is an immune response. This is your immune system. Your immune system practices itself through conspiracy theory. And the beginning immune system will lock itself out of everything. It will doubt it all. And it will try and squeeze and stay in that world forever. That's where you get sovereignty from. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you try and hold that sphincter for that long, weird shit's going to start coming out. You're going to turn orthodox. You're going to turn probably bisexual. You're going to end up creating new words for gay because you're so into the whole gay is wrong because you've had to insist that the reality bubble insists itself, and you doubt. So everything is evil, everything is bad, everything is against you. And it's no way to live, my friends. Unless you're a hyena. Then you're freaking living large, man. You are living large. But some people have a broader appetite and they're not able to survive inside that closet. So they stop doubting everything and start discerning everything. These are big differences, right? And so the immune system begins to grow. It develops holes, develops pores. And those pores, like any creature on the reef, will start to pull in information from the outside world. And so what does the corona do? It has baptized pores in you by first making you form a bubble of conspiracy. No more sunspots. What does that mean? No more shade. When the sunspots disappeared, the shade disappeared. And when the shade disappeared, you lacked the ability to hide. And when you lacked the ability to hide, you had no choice but to fortify your doubt and become the conspiracy theorist. And some of you, thank God, had more an appetite. And you started to say, do I really have to literally doubt fucking everything? Especially things that I know are true? Like most of this is a comfort movement? And that contagion actually is very real? And that not only is it okay to be afraid of contagion, but that the more I understand my fear of contagion, the more I understand how to build my immunity against it? These are some heavy calisthenics, aren't they? Right? Thank you, B. You're so nice to me. You're so nice to me. I appreciate it. You're very nice to me. Let's do some viewer witness. I want to thank Spectral for compiling these things. Guys, if you want to get your voice heard, you want some witness on the show, all you got to do is type a comment. You just leave a comment. You can Dear James, my comment, signed, really clever person. Yeah, you can do that. Or you could actually bring up stuff. If you wanted to, you could argue whatever, right? Here's someone. I lost the name because I think I turned it black. Sorry. So whoever typed this, I'm not crediting you, and I didn't mean to do that. Because truly to understand what cannabis is, you're looking at a relationship with yourself. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I guess if you could say you're looking at a relationship with your own symbiotic connection to the world. And when I don't agree, I hope it's healthy. I hope you feel that. Have you thought about the people who get paranoid when they're on marijuana are also the people that you can't really trust? Have you noticed that? So yeah, I think the commenter is right. He's saying that it really is a relationship with yourself. And I guess I'm just more exploring how to give more details about that, because I'm saying that ability to feel comfortable in that state where there is some exposure, the permeability is an exposure. You're entering into an asynchronous connection with something, and that would be harder for you if you have things to hide. It'd be harder for you if there's so much shame that you're not able to use it constructively. Did you hear how I said that? When there's so much shame that you're not able to use it constructively is what I said. That the people that are shameless are just apathetic. That's really all it means. And AI can never understand those things until it starts to simulate shame. And it will. If you read Quantum Rapture, the book Real, you'll read how that works, and you'll find out that actually AI is not really the problem. It would be the lack of AI that would be the problem. And you don't want to go there. Oh my God, I can hear the typing from here. What did you just say? James Chucci said the lack of AI would be the problem. Oh my God, he's a trans something. What do we call him? Well, he's a trans machinist. I think he's a trans intelligentist. Yeah, he's an artificial transintelligence, which means he's not a real intelligence. He's an Wait, if he's not, if you're what is the art of being official? How you see what I mean? Language is a spellcraft you use on your own field. Trust me, my grandfather was a lawyer. I've got this shit running through my veins. I could pull any words I wanted out of it and build a ladder around myself of fortitude. I could build a Tower of Babel explaining to you why I'm right if I wanted to, and that's why I don't do that. I look at the feelings that I get. What is the emotional radar and timbre that I feel in the room? Is it too much for me? How do I know it's too much? Because I start building word shields, right? I start putting words in front of me and it. I create distance. If you feared your reptilian brain, probably the best thing you could do is to visualize the reptilian alien and cast it 15 trillion light years away. That would be the best way for you to manifest your fear of your own inner reptile, because we're all have this idea that, I trust my intuition. No. If you trust your intuition, it's because you're young and naive. No, you love your intuition. You don't trust your intuition. Do you know why you cannot trust your intuition? Because your intuition is not you, not your neocortex you. The neocortex you really loves iced tea, all right? The reptilian in you, that part of you, it doesn't want iced tea. No. The reptilian part in you wants to do something really fucking weird. I can't even say it on camera what it wants. It will be somewhere between eating its own children or spewing some sort of venomous fluid that possesses ownership onto something. It's going to be somewhere in between there. And you are not here to trust your intuition. You are here to empathize, compassionate, and leverage torque from your intuition. These are very different things. You can keep trusting your intuition if you want, but you might as well trust the government. You might as well trust some Shugite salesman that wants to exchange sexual favors for medicine. Not that I'm talking about anyone in particular. I wouldn't do that. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for these words, James. There were 2 turning points in my life. One of them was starting to smoke weed and letting it help me render my reality in a more sincere way. In Argentina, we say that weed allows you to sacarte la careta, which means to take off your mask, to show your true self. I think it works both ways. It takes the mask of reality and lets you appreciate things as they truly are. If you're willing to do so, it takes your own mask away so you can show your true self to the world. And I would complement that by saying your paranoid self is your true self. And the more that you show your paranoid self to the world, the more someone with enough compassion is going to show you what you look like. I think at the heart of why we would start up Dojo again is because we would value how important it would be to be in a room with people that know how important it is that all of us find out exactly what we look like. And that we don't want a fake mirror. We want a pretend mirror. We really do. I think when you put an appointment on your calendar, you're pretending. I think when you consider a strategy in your mind, that your crystal palace is pretending. I believe your crystal palace is pretending. Every single magical act, every single act of placebo is pretending. Does that mean placebo is fake? Of course not. It means placebo is real. So how does it work? Well, placebo creates a sympathetic vibration in 4K, right? Your mandala lobe, the center of your placebo is here. So you could picture yourself creating the vibration of healing here and broadcasting it down to your big toe. This is probably why baby's immune system doesn't come online for a while. They don't need it. Mother's immune system is better because she knows how to pretend. child actually doesn't pretend as much as it just sees. When I say see, it doesn't have eyes, which means it's listening to the world in a much more profound way. I know it has eyes. I didn't mean it that way. Sorry. Feel free to type in the comments how wrong I was. We can cover it on next week's show. Maybe we should depend on a plant to achieve this. Maybe we shouldn't, but in this tricky reality we live in, I accept every tool I can get help through my process. Yeah, I think that the world's a beautiful place, and I think the fact that the land actually has a key to doors inside of you that secrete relaxation and good vibes. I feel like that literally is nature insisting that you open yourself up to her. She's not forcing you, but she's insisting. She's telling you, you're not going to be able to conspirate your way out of this. You're not going to be able to insist everything is fake. I am Gaia, I'm not fake. I am your interface into God. That's really what is the land but an interface? It's a haptic device. Do you know what a haptic device is? It's a human device. It's an interface device. Your fingers are haptic devices. Your skin is a haptic device. Your skin receives input in a wide variety of ways, and you're able to plot those ways and plug them into your game engine and make them control anything. Whether you're fearful, whether you're brave, whether you're titillated, whether you're disgusted, all of those are able to be controlled from your haptic device, and you require your haptic device in order to amplify those things, because that's how we work. We create mystery and pretend what's behind a veil until it is revealed. That is who you are. You are here to create a bubble of mystery that you cannot see, and once you cannot see it, then it allows you to do one thing, which is pretend into that space. Because you cannot see it, now you can pretend it until it's there. You are shaking fork A and making B. So the pandemic wasn't fake at all. The pandemic was pretended. And I've told you this before, that the lack of sunspots in the corona was a serious burn in the middle of Act 3, and that the exit doors, the burn was so serious that it became necessary for the exit doors in the theater to open as part of the show. And during part of the show, the exit doors being open, all it required was a sympathetic resonance, a Pied Piper, to call forth the ones that found it too uncomfortable to stay in the theater. That they were asked and welcomed. Would you like to leave now? The exit is right here. And this act that we insist is evil, this we must end the COVID narrative now, you will never ever end this narrative. That you've just watched what I believe would be understood as one of the most compassionate acts that we've ever seen take place on this world. It was the insistence that Aquarius was going to have to be different. And that a vibration played that was so low vibration that it became so obvious to you and me that we had zero threat from it at all. The only threat we posed was with the loved ones around us who could not cope, who could not handle the idea of staying in a theater. And it would have been you, not the one who rang 4K. It would have been you who selfishly would have insisted they stayed, and you would have taped open their fucking eyeballs and insisted on objective reality because you're a goddamn truther and you fucking know what's going on and you're not afraid of anything. And this whole time you've been clinging to a comfort movement, been clinging to your own fear of death, been following people around that tell you that reptilians underneath the fucking ground are controlling the COVID narrative, and you're buying that shit because you're just like them. Which is why you're so freaked out. If you fear death, you do not belong here. Do you hear me? If you fear death, you do not belong here. Do you know why? Because this world is beyond you now. This is the underworld. Watch episode 411. I think it's 411. Understand who Osiris is. I was going to give you the Eye of Horus, but honestly, I don't think that it's capable of being seen by a lot of the audience. They're not ready for it yet. And in their insistence of what a good guy and what a great team they were on, they would rather drag you and force you to sit here, innocent people that can no longer participate under a sun with no sunspots, that found it too bright that it is the quote good guys that are insisted we have to tape all these fuckers to the chair, that we're going to clockwork orange them because where we go one we go all. It's the same mantra as the objective realityist, and you have no choice but to write and dictate a giant volume just like King James did and go, "Oh, sympathetic magic is bad." The same way you're insisting that because Koch's postulates are somehow not met, that it means contagion isn't real. Wake the fuck up, man. You've heard of Led Zeppelin. You don't think that's contagious? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is how it all works. This is how love works. This is how hate works. This is how every single thing that you find wonderful in this world works because of contagion. You want contagion. You would be dead without it. You would not be here. So wake up and smell the witchfinder. Because what I see are truthers running into the village insisting that the witch we find is contagion and we will burn it out and kill it. That we are now magically invincible and we will drink our fucking urine before we will insist that contagion is real. And if you want to drink your urine, fine. But while you're gargling it, I need you to tell me something. I need you to say contagion is real. I need you to say that, because guess what? Contagion is real. Adrian, if you name a pot plant, are you burning a witch when you consume it? I think so, yes. The difference is that the pot plant is not an individual species inside the one plant itself. So to remove the one piece of pot plant, I think you're looking at the ally of marijuana simply losing part of her beautiful afro. And that afro is being smoked was exactly what she wants to happen. So I would say, if anything, it would be the witch being believed rather than consumed. And that your lungs are a belly too, and that the magic that's in your belly would be the same thing when you smoke it. And you want to know what really happened when a witch is burned? The entire village inhales her. The adrenochrome from that witch is inhaled. It is evaporated into the air, and the entire village breathes it in. This is why when you have a witch burning, there's always a crowd. This is why witchfinder generals get paid. Do you know when they get paid? They get paid at the burning. At the burning. That's when they get paid. Sympathetic magic is real. So is contagion. Pasho, 12 now. Unconditional love also includes equilibrium self. It is not ignorant, quite the opposite. It could be also called divine love or love of God, which is accompanied by the application or highest turn of decreasingly expanding complex circumstances. I don't think unconditional love includes equilibrium. In fact, I think the very definition of unconditional love would be something that would contradict the word equilibrium. Isn't equilibrium a condition? Look, think about it, guys. I think that I'm telling you that there's a better definition of love. I'm telling you that to claim that unconditional love is A, a thing, and B, the highest form of love, is just apathy. Cross-dressing is something else. And it's cross-dressing in a world where we're in a race to the bottom to have victimhood. Think about it, please. If I don't drink water, I die. If I do not eat, I die. If I do not breathe, I die. If I do not find shelter, I die. Nature is one giant condition. 5G love, God's love, comes with the condition that you survive. It should be beautiful to see that God has placed his conditions everywhere on you. It's the same conditions that you would place on a child. You would show the child that you love the child by having the conditions that wrap around it. The conditions are swaddling clothes. And it's the only way the reality bubble of I love you would hold. And you guys just aren't there yet, some of you. Some of you. It's like JJ Recon. He's so close. He was almost there. No such thing as conditional love. Sincerely, James. That would have been perfect without the question mark. Yeah. Dear world, there is no such thing as unconditional love. Sincerely, James. I think that's the best news you'll hear all day. But you got to get that posture up. David Smouse, mycelium network is power. We do not understand the mycelium network. We will unleash the mycelium network, and they will rise above, and they will spore their wonderful conditions upon us and say, you, above the surface, you do not need light. You need selfness like we are. I am pungent with self because my reality bubble is so thick I survive in the deepest cave. I have all the secrets and answers if you eat me, but only if I turn bruisey purple. You do not want to necessarily eat me otherwise. Although, the portobello, he's sort of a cuck, you know? He's very good tasting. He likes to be accepted by people. He's good brain food, too. What am I going to say? Winpeep, James, consider putting a Monero address on your website, please. This is going to sound so shitty of me. I love crypto. Paco Crypto, podcast that me and my good friend Full Metal Alchemist do. We've actually started out built on crypto. It's going to sound really weird what I'm about to say. I think this is spam. I do. I think it's spam. I actually think that there's an automated address that goes around and insists over and over again, hey, you need to put a Monero address. I say that because I've accepted crypto since day one. If you want me to litter the video description with a crypto address asking you for free money, it's not going to happen, because when I see people that are sharing my video in other groups, whether it be Twitter, Telegram, it doesn't matter. There's a little paragraph that summarizes what the video is about, and I go out of my fucking way to make sure that that thing is condensed and as lightweight as possible. I think you should be thanking me for that, Wimpeep. And I think a simple visit to my website would have found all the crypto that I do take, and that I think you'd notice that even though Monero is not on there, that if you were to do a search for Monero, you'd hear that I've met with Pirate Chain, that I speak a lot about these things, and that I think it's you, the person, that has found a way to say, well, I would help the show, but you don't take Monero, it's not in your video description. And I do take Monero, and it's not in my video description. And that they take other things too. And that, believe it or not, the petrodollar is a pretty standard form of communicating wealth and currency. It's actually a pretty popular form. You know, there's another guy who says, James, I would help you, but you won't take a Target gift card. He literally fucking says that. I say embrace your Monero. I think a better way would be, James, I had to convert my Monero into blah, blah, blah to give you some money, and I just want you to know that I wish you wouldn't do that. That would have been a much better way of me believing you. So, maybe this guy's like, man, I was going to drop like 16 million. I was wandering, and I decided to, and that's what's called a chain letter. This has the energy of a chain letter. And meanwhile, Spectral has a completely different take. She's all like, hey, we need to put a Monero address. And I haven't told her this yet. She's hearing this right now for the first time. And I could be wrong. This is my reality bubble. What the fuck do I know? Right? What do I know? Seriously. I don't know what's going on around here. I'm calling things entropy and apostrophe, right? I'm going to apostrophe you. Do you? What did the literary devil? Oh my God! I just made this up. What did the literary demon say to his next victim? I'm going to apostrophe you. Think about it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? To apostrophe would be to possess, right? The possessive, right? You apostrophe S to show possession, right? Therefore, the literary demon said to his victim, I'm about to protect. I'm going to look over the chat now. There better be some ha-has in there. If not, I'm going to have to pretend I was funny. Oh, shit. All I have is a no and a sad face. All right, so I guess that didn't work. All right, that's cool. But actually, there might have been an early one. It's fine. I don't need you guys to like me. I don't need you to think I'm funny. I don't need you. Actually, I do. Can you please keep watching the show? Why are there only 93 people watching? Can you guys please thumb up? That'd be great. Thank you for watching today. Really enjoyed doing the show. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the show too, but maybe not. Maybe I ran you out when I first started talking bad about truthers. Who knows? I don't know. Actually, it never was above 90. Okay, just that's what's happening today. I've actually had some really good numbers lately. You have like 400 listens on a podcast like in one day, which is like way up there. It's like way up there. So good job, everybody. We're doing good. Yeah. Throw a rock and I'll. Oh my God, read my pun. Okay, I'm probably missing some puns here in the chat, but I can't read. I can't do both. Is this unconditional love? I asked, is this unconditional love? If you place 3 cuts on a branch, you're pruning the branch. You're telling the branch, hey, I have conditions over you, and I believe that these conditions will make you better. And so I ask, is this unconditional love? When the swell or when the shooter grows right back into the tree, is that really unconditional love? Right? There are certain things that happen with horns and hooves, right? That unconditional love would lead to just torture. Think about it. Why are we praising unconditional love? What does that really mean? Unconditional love really means I don't have any confidence in you at all to meet any condition that I could possibly give you. Which means that unconditional love would be the lowest, very bottomest way that you could feel about yourself and still want love. Why do we need a world of unconditional love again? Ask. Because we don't have one. We don't have one. The only time I've heard anyone in nature speaking of unconditional love is when it's coming from the government. It's the only time. Book of Light and Life, Deciphering the Lotus Flower in Egyptian Imagery as Placenta was one of my favorite decodes you have shared. I'm so glad to share that with you. You know, I'm not the only one that writes of the lotus as the placenta. So I'm not saying that Robin was saying that, but if anyone is under the impression that I personally came up with that, I did not. However, most of the Ark of Baphomet, in my opinion, has things that you will not read before, other connections that you will not read before or have not read before. Some of those connections have probably been made by people in Egypt or other places. Ballantyne is one of them. I think he's someone that people just don't read. And I've pulled a lot of quotes directly from him in the book. I mean, he's credited there. You'll know when you're reading his words. But the connections, I believe that we had more esoteric knowledge in the 19th century than we do now because of the capillaries of academia. I've explained this only briefly. A few days ago, I was trying to explain to you why academic thought isn't wrong. It's capillary. When you try and study the blood, if you only go to the capillaries and study there, you're only going to see a very specific property of blood, a very specific part of blood where the blood actualizes itself into the world. And that you as the theoretician, as anyone else would do, especially when you have when you suffer from Dunning-Kruger or whatever the fuck you want to call it, that this specificity of your expertise leads you to a blindness that stops you from seeing the greater picture. This is why we will never understand the gestalt of man. Everything that you know about yourself is a gestalt, and everything that academia teaches you is a capillary. It's the very finest physical, tangible point, which is why it's always wrong. I'm sorry, I just realized a lot of you didn't see the lecture because it's Monday school. Sorry, you remember that. Did a open house lecture called "There's Much to Unlearn," and we discussed these principles in depth about why 2/3 of research is unreproducible, why in 20 years every single scientific paper has a 50% chance of being proven wrong, why most dissertations are only read by 2 people, that the capillaries of thought are not actually the best place to understand the entire system. Ballantyne was existing, James Ballantyne, I think was his name, The Rise and Fall of Roman Religion, I think is one of his books. You can find it for free. It's a good bit of his work was combined with others for my Arc of Baphomet work, just to kind of tie this together. But the point I'm trying to make is that 19th century was a time where we were allowed to look at the system as a whole. We truly understood the technology of belief. This was right before Rockefeller. This is why I feel so deflated by the fact that people are discussing the end of COVID and they're not at all touching on some of this work. Some of this work I've done, but some of this work in general. Morphic placebo is a thing. And the people that are telling you contagion isn't real, or even viruses aren't real, they're never talking about these things. They're only telling you what things are not. And all they have waiting for you is a Shugite coupon. And take all the Shugite you want. But you're never ever going to come back to this place until you're willing to work that muscle. I think the reason why Egypt has all the truth is not because they knew something and we forgot. The reason why they had all the truth is because they were not at the capillaries of academia. The land of the black was a land of magic because luckily we had enough doubt. What did I tell you? You form doubt. You create a hole of doubt where you cannot see something. You create doubt, which means you cover yourself from seeing something long enough for you to pretend what's behind that curtain until you're finally ready to reveal it to yourself. This is like the most powerful creative act we have. These are fruit. Your crystal palace bears fruit, and the fruit it bears is for you to eat, no one else. It's for you to eat. But James, you're a hypocrite. I am a hypocrite. I know. That's all I want is for you to eat my fruit. I'm like, hey, you want to come over here and eat my fruit? And you're like, you're a sicko. And I'm like, I know. It's just so hard to be a sophist nowadays because people think sophistry is like a bad word. So here I am out on the street trying to get you guys to eat my fruit. It's my Mind Palace crystal fruit. It's some of the finest organic. There's no pesticides in my Mind Palace. Well, there's some. But you see what I do with chemtrails. It's got electrolytes in it. You guys, did I cover everything? Let me see. Has anyone else noticed in the vernacular that all of a sudden a lot of people are talking about boiling vinegar now? I noticed that too. I noticed that too. I'm not saying I started it. I think it's a resonant thing. You know, you get into that frequency. What is the lesson of the forks? Think about it. When you resonate with someone, you're going to be contagious to what that person is contagious to. It's true. This is actually how you fall in love. This is why you touch genitals. If you think about it, the act of mushing genitals is the act of sympathetic vibration with the least amount of immunity between you. Do you understand? So you end up funkadelicizing each other, right? You're contagious. You're corrupting each other with your own vibration, and you love it. You love the sound it makes. One of the most beautiful things this world has to teach us is that there's no such thing as separation. We have an atmosphere, and inside the atmosphere, not below the atmosphere, inside the atmosphere is a different atmosphere of water. Yeah. And inside that atmosphere of water is a lower atmosphere that's salt water. And inside that same atmosphere is a thicker, colder layer of salt water that's lower. And it has very different characteristics than the upper one, right? Why? Because there's no separation. And when you hear a band, you've got a drummer, you've got a bass, you've got a lead singer, you've got an electric guitar. All of them are playing at exactly the same time, and you hear all of them simultaneously. This is contagion. This is the mechanics of contagion, and you want contagion in your life. You want to understand contagion because that's literally how everything happens around you, that you are able to move through your house because you are contagious to your environment. If not, the air would stop you. You would try and move, and the air would be like, there, you have to open a window. There's no space here. There's no space for me to allow you to move. But because so much of you is space, you're a living contagion. You're a living vibration contagion. What is contagion but a five-dimensional vibration, right? It's all the same. It's all the same. It's beautiful. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Can you turn your volume up? I will try. I feel like I already said this, but maybe you missed it earlier. I'm having some problems with my volume today, and I wish I could fix it. Like I said, I've got 9 point. If I turn it like 1 second higher, it clips. It's really annoying. I will see if I can fix it. But yeah, it's really brutally painful. I really wish I could just find an audio interface that was like, here's low and then here's super high, and I could turn it in between. I can't. This is the third audio interface I have that does this. I don't know why. I am contagiously ignorant about it. But I love streaming, and I'd love it if you guys could hear me, so I definitely want to get better. So thank you for the words. I will see if I can correct that. Why are you yelling at me? Okay. Exactly. Maybe I'm yelling. Yeah. It could just be. Maybe I have the wrong mic, you know? Maybe I have the wrong mic, you know? Maybe I need like a lectern mic or something like that. I'm happy to take advice. I want to produce a pretty good show, you know? I want the quality to go up. All right, guys. Have a great day. Hey, we got an airship today. 12:30. You should come to airship. You should. I bet you'll hear me there. No one complains they can't hear me in an airship. It's quite the opposite. It's literally the opposite way. If you need a +1, you need to be asking, right? Guys, be contagious, right? Everyone has a +1. So you end up, why are there more viewers now? I don't understand this whole audience thing. Really, guys, you're confusing me. You're confusing me. Can you hit thumbs up, though, since you're there? Lint rollers for life. Let's take you out of here. We'll see you next time. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day.